Hi everybody, welcome to another class. Today what we'll be doing is going to be a very simple chapter. This is recurring bank accounts, which comes under the banking chapter, which is chapter 2 in your textbook. Now before I start with this chapter, I'll just explain what recurring bank deposits are going to look like. So to understand what recurring deposit is, or sometimes also referred to as RD, some of your parents might have already invested in this. Let us assume that we have a bank, all right, and whenever we have extra money, it's always advisable that we put some money into the bank. Now, as in when we put money into the bank also uses the money that we put in to lend it to someone else who might need it at a point in time. And when they do that, they collect some interest from them, they collect some charge from them, and a part of it is returned to us. So the amount that we deposit into the bank is called as the principal, and the amount that we get as interest is simply called as the interest. Now what we do here is calculate the amount, which is nothing but the total money that we receive at the end of it, which is nothing but the total principal that we put in plus the interest. Now this information is something that you already know. The only difference is that in recurring deposit, you're putting in some amount of money every single month. Now, having said all of this, let us look at some of the formulae that would be required for us to understand how problems from this chapter may be solved. The first formula is to find out how much interest that you earn. Now, let us assume that there is some amount of money that we put into the bank every month. The interest that you earn is given by the formula P times n plus 1 divided by 12 times 2 times r by 100. Now, let me explain what these things indicate. N indicates the total time where you have invested your money, and that will be always computed in the number of months. Please keep in mind that this is not number of years but number of months. And P is the principal or the money that you're putting into your account every single month. All right. So please keep a couple of things in mind. You don't calculate anything yearly here. It is everything here is calculated monthly wise. So P indicates principal deposited every month. N indicates the number of months you put in the amount, and towards the end of it, the total money that you get, which includes your principal and the interest, is called as the maturity value. The amount gets matured after a specific period of time, and this is given by the formula total sum and the additional interest that you have earned. Total sum is the money that you had put in for n months, which is nothing but the principal. So if you are looking at depositing rupees P every month for n months, then your total principal is going to be n into P plus the interest component to it. So your maturity value is going to be NP plus I, where NP is the total principal invested for n months and I is the total interest. Now let us look at all the problems from exercise 2A. They are very simple problems. It's something that you can finish off maybe within half an hour to 45 minutes. So let us start with the first question. In the first question, he's told us that we are depositing rupees 600 into our recurring bank deposit every month, and we are doing this for 20 months. So he's given you the value of P, he's given you the value of N. Keep in mind that N will always be in months. He's also told us that the bank is paying us at a rate of 10% per annum, and he's asking us to calculate the maturity value. It's basically just direct substitution. You know, the formula for maturity value is the total sum invested added to the interest that we earn at the end of the maturity time. Now let us first calculate the total sum. The total sum, you know, is given by the formula N into P, which is 20 times 6, which is 12,000 rupees. Now let us calculate the total interest. Now that we have calculated the total sum, let us calculate the total interest. The total interest is given by the formula P into N times N plus 1 divided by 2 times 12 times R by 100. So let us substitute all the values. You know, P is 600. Keep in mind that P is not the total principal value. It is the principal that you're putting in every month. So it's 600 into 20 times 20 plus 1, which is 21, times 2 times 12 into 10 by 100. R is 10. So please put R as 10. Let us see what we can cancel off here. We can cancel off the zeros. And then let's see if we can cancel off something else. We can cancel off a 12 and 600. So that goes 50 times. I would suggest that you leave everything as it is right now. because your numerator has 100 in it, which is a good thing for you. It becomes easy for you to calculate. You have a 2 in the denominator. You know 21 by 2 is 10.5 times 100 is going to give you rupees 1050. I'm just going to put that up there, which is the total interest that you earn because of your investment. So let us put everything together now. We know our maturity value is equal to the total sum that we invested plus the interest that we earned. So let's go back and see what our sum was. Our sum was 12,000 rupees and the total interest that we earned was 1050. So my maturity value is going to be 12,000 plus 1050, which is going to give me 13,050 rupees, and that is going to be my final answer. So if you notice, along with you investing 12,000 rupees, you're also earning an additional 1050 rupees from the bank for putting your money into the bank. So it's a win-win situation for both. Now let us solve the second problem. At any point in time, please pause, solve the problem yourself. These are very simple problems. Now in this problem, he's given us that the total principal you're investing every month is 640 rupees. He's given you time in years. So the first thing you need to do is convert it to months, because all calculation is taken month-wise in this chapter. So you're going to multiply this by 12 to get the total amount, the total time in months. So you know 4.5 is 9 by 2 times 12. We can cancel that off with 6. So 6 times 9 will give you 54 months. Now he's asking us to calculate the maturity value. He's also given us the rate to be about 10%. So let us put everything together now. We know maturity value is equal to total sum invested plus the interest. Now we know the total sum is equal to the number of months into the principal, which is going to be 54 times 640. So let's quickly do this math here. This turns out to be rupees 34,560. Now let us calculate the interest. The interest is just a simple formula, which is P times N into N plus 1 times 2 into 12 times R by 100. Let us put all this together now. We know P is 640. Let's put that value out there. 640 times 54 times 55. N plus 1 is 55 times 2 into 12 times R by 100. R is 12, so that becomes 12 by 100. Let's see if we can cancel something out. We can cancel a 12 out. We can cancel a 0 out. We can also cancel 64 by 2, which gives me 32. Now I would suggest that you leave the denominator as it is, because you have a 10. It just becomes easy for me to solve it. So this turns out to be rupees 9,504, and this is my total interest. I know my sum is 34,560 plus 9,504 will give me my maturity value, which is what I want you to finish. Please pause this video at this point in time. Please finish this problem after you understand it. Okay, I hope you understood the previous problem. Going forward, all problems are going to be the same. Let's start with the third one. Third one is involving two investors. Let's call the first investor as A and the second investor as B. Each one is putting a different principal value for a different period of time. So first person is putting, let's call that P1. He's putting a principal value of rupees 1,200. The second person, let's call that P2. His principal value is rupees 1,500. We notice that the first person is putting it for 3 years. Convert that to months, so that is going to give you 3 times 12, which is 36 months. Whereas the second person is putting it for 2.5 years, so that is going to give you 30 months, which is 5 by 2 times 12, which is going to give you 30 months. Both are receiving the same rate of interest. The first rate of interest A is going to receive is 10%. The rate of interest the second person is receiving is also 10%. We need to find out who gets a larger maturity value and by how much. This is something you can directly do. It's just direct substitution. You know what the formula is. So I'm just going to erase this bit off here. and help you understand how you need to present this. So all you have to do is determine each maturity value and then find out who gets the higher amount and by how much. So once you get the higher amount, I want you to put the final answer in a suitable format. I'm just going to put that up there. Your final answer should read like this. This is the format. It must say that the whatever person, I'm just going to put that as a blank, gets rupees dash more than the other person. So you could say A gets rupees 10 more than B or something like that, and that's how your final answer is going to look like. So please pause the video, finish it, and make sure your final answer is exactly in this format. Okay, if you're done, let's move to the next problem now. The fourth question. Now let us look at what he's given us. He's given us that n is 12 months or 1 year. And then he's also given us some additional information. Let us just read through this problem a bit. When we read through this problem a bit, we also notice that the rate of interest is 11%. So I'm just going to put that up there. Oh, he's given you the maturity value here. Very good. So he's given you the total money that one gets after the entire investment, which is 12,715 rupees. And then he's asked us to calculate the principal or the amount that you're putting in every month. That's about it. I think we have all the values that are required. We know that maturity value is NP plus I, the total principal plus the interest. He wants us to calculate P. So I'm just going to substitute all the values here. So we know N is equal to 12. So that becomes 12P plus this is P into N plus 1 by 2 times 12 times R by 100. We know our maturity value is 12,715. I'm just going to put that there. So I'm going to say 12,715 is here. I want you to be a little careful. I want you to be a little smart. So try to simplify as much as you can beforehand. Substitute the value of R here. You know R is 11 by 100. And in the next step, what I want you to do is try to cancel off whatever you can. Try to keep it very clean and simple. 12 goes off. Now what I want you to do is take P common. P is a common factor between the first two terms. I would suggest you do this to make your calculations a lot easier. So you're going to get 12 plus P is outside. So this is going to give you 13 times 11 by 2 into 100. Now I'm going to teach you a very simple trick to calculate the value of the numerator, which is 13 times 11. I want you to solve this first, but I'll teach you a simple trick where you can multiply any big number with 11. And this is how we're going to do. I'm just going to go to the next page now. So just follow this trick. This will help you calculate 13 into 11 or any number into 11. Okay. So the first thing that you're going to do is write both the numbers. Write 13 and write 11. Then you write the first number, which is 1, the last number, which is 3. Add both the numbers, which is going to give you 4, and 143 is going to be 13 times 11. It's as simple as that. So your numerator has now become, let's go back to that, 12,715 is equal to P times 12 plus, we just got that, that's 143 divided by 200. Now just do a basic math here. You could take your LCM and do it, or you could directly get the decimal equivalent of 143 by 200. The decimal equivalent is approximately 0.715. So I'm just going to put that there. So I get 12,715 is equal to P times 12 plus 0.715, which is 12.715. Just divide both and you should be able to get the value of the principal. If you notice, the digits on the left hand side and the right hand side are the same. So you have to just move those decimal points to get your final answer. I'll ask you to finish this off from here. Please pause this video and finish off the problem. Alright, let's start with the next problem. Our next problem is the fifth problem, which is also very simple. He's told us that n is 3.5 years here, that's 3.5 years. So the first thing I need to do is convert this to months. So 3 1 by 2 is 7 by 2 times 12 will give me my value in months, which is 42 months. And then what I'm going to do is write the other values. He's given you R to be 12%. So I'm going to write R equal to 12%. He's also given us the maturity value. The maturity value is given as 10,206 rupees. And he's asked us to calculate the value of the principal again. It is just like your previous problem. So please follow steps of the previous problem and finish this problem off. I've put everything that is required for you to solve this problem. Please pause, finish the problem off and verify your answer. Alright, once we have done with the fifth one, let's move to the sixth question. Sixth question, there are two sub questions to it. I'll start with the first one. This is going to be 6.1. Now this problem is slightly different. He wants you to calculate the value of R. So all the problems we have done so far, we have either calculated the value of maturity value or the principal. Now we are trying to do something different where we are calculating R. You need to remember that all the formula are the same. The only thing that you'll have to do is put in the right substitution and then find the value of the unknown. So in this, the value of the principal is rupees 140. You're doing this for 48 months. He's given you the maturity value as rupees 8092 and he's asking us to calculate the value of R. You're just going to use the only formula that this chapter has, which is NP plus I. So this is going to be NP plus, you know, the formula for I, which is P into N plus 1 by 2 times 12 times R by 100. Now put all the values and then substitute and then get the value of R. But I want you to be a little smart when you're doing the calculation. Don't get into an unnecessary mess. You need to be very clean on your calculations. So I'm going to put 8092 equal to 140 times 48 plus 140 times 48 times 49, that's N into N plus 1 by 2 times 12 times R by 100. Now your value of R is unknown. So see how I'm going to do this. First, I'm going to take 140 times 48 as a common factor. It will just make things simple. Don't sit and multiply 140 times 48. It's just a waste of time. So 1092 is going to give me 140 times 48 times 1 plus 49 by 49 times R divided by 2 times 12 times 100. And then what I want you to do is push the common factor to the left hand side and push it into the denominator. So I'm going to write 8092, let me go back, divided by 140 by 48 equal to, you know what your RHS is, 1 plus 49 times R divided by 2 times 12 times 100. Alright. Now try to simplify your your LHS as much as you can. So I'm just going to show how you can simplify this and make it a little easy for yourself. I'm just going to circle that so that you know how you need to start with it. That is something that you need to learn to simplify first. See what numbers you can cancel it off with. I know 8092 goes by 7, 140 also goes by 7. So I'll try to cancel that off first. And once I cancel that off first, let's see what else is left for us to cancel so that we can have a simplified number on either side. So when I cancel this by 7, I get 20 in the denominator and 1156 in the numerator. Now let me also see if I can simplify something else. I can simplify it by 2, but I generally look for a bigger number. So I'm going to simplify this by 4. So I'm going to get 289 in the numerator and 20 times 12, which is 240. I can just leave it as 20 times 12 for now. And then I'm going to write my RHS as it is. If you notice, I have a 2 times 12 on my RHS, I have a 20 times 12 on my LHS. This is something waiting for you to cancel. So I'm just going to simplify this out. 289 divided by 20 times 12 minus 1. I'm going to bring the 1 from RHS to the LHS. Is going to give me 49 times R divided by 2 times 12 times 100. Now all I'm going to do is multiply that is 240. I'm going to take my LCM on the left hand side and simplify that. So that is going to give me 289 minus 240 divided by 240 is going to give me everything on my RHS, which is 49 times R divided by 24, which is 2 times 12 times 100. Now let me see what I can cancel. That is 24, which will easily get cancelled off with a 10. I can also cancel off 110 with a 100 on this side, so that becomes a lot more easier for me. Whereas if you look at my LHS, the numerator is 49, so I get 49 is equal to 49 times R into 100, I cancel off the 49 off, so R becomes 10%. Learn to keep your calculations as simple as you can. Don't over calculate things that are not really required at this stage. I'm just going to put that comment there so that you constantly keep this in mind, that you need to keep your calculations exceptionally clean. Don't get into unnecessary multiplication or division. I'm going to pause this video so that you finish this off. The second part of the question, which is 6.2, is also very similar to 6.1. You need to do the pretty much the same thing. It's just that your numbers are different. So I'm just going to put the data and leave that for you to finish off. Please pause this video, do it on your own. If you want to do it even before I put in the data, it's your choice. I would recommend that you do this more proactively. So I know R is unknown to me. I know N is 24 months or 2 years. My only advice to you is to keep all your calculations clean. I'm just going to put that up again for you so that you're constantly informed that this is how you need to calculate. I'm just going to make you pause the video at this stage and finish off the problem. Alright, if you're finished with this problem, let us move into the next question now. The next question is also quite similar. There's nothing much for you to do. In the 7th question, he's given you the value of the principal, which is rupees 150 that you're depositing every month. He's given you the value of N to be 8 months. He's also given you the value of R to be 8%. I'm just going to put that up now. So R is 8%. And then he's asked you to just calculate the maturity value, and he's also told us that the interest is computed monthly, which is exactly what recurring deposit does. So don't get confused by any terminology that is given in the question. He's just asking you to calculate maturity value, and you will use your basic formula and do the basic things to get the maturity value. So I'm just going to pause the video at this time for you, and you're going to finish the problem off. Alright, let's move into the next question, which is your 8th question. Now your 8th question is also very simple. He's given you all the information that is required, and you're supposed to just calculate whatever they've asked for. Now in this question, he's told us that you're investing for 1 year and 3 months. So 1 year adds up to 12 months plus another 3 months will give you an additional will give you a total of 15 months. And then he's given us the principal. I'm just going to put that up there. Your principal is rupees 350. He's also given you the maturity value here. Your maturity value is rupees 5,565. He's asked you to calculate the value of R. So you're just pretty much going to do what you did in the 6th question. Keep your calculations clean. I'm going to repeat this again and again. Don't get into unnecessary, unwanted calculations. Pause the video. Please finish the problem. Okay, let's move into the 9th one. The 9th one is a very important problem. I'm just going to highlight it for you so that you keep this in mind. In the 9th problem, we're expecting you to calculate the total months where the investment has gone in. So in this problem, you will land up with a quadratic equation which you need to simplify. I've done the entire problem for you, but at one point in time, if you feel you're comfortable taking it forward, I expect you to do that. He's given you the principal to be 1,200, maturity value is 12,440, and your R is 8%. So let us calculate the total number of months for which the investment has taken place. So I'm going to put the formula, which is the only formula in this chapter, which is NP plus I. I'm just going to substitute all the values now. We know the formula for interest is P times N into N plus 1 by 2 times 12 by R by 100. Your maturity value is 12,440. So I'm going to substitute that there. is equal to n into p. I know p is 1200, so I'm going to make it 1200 n plus 1200 times n plus 1 divided by 2 times 12 times r by 100. Now the value of r is 8, which I shall put in a little later, but let us first see what we can simplify. I know I can pull out something common, so I'm going to pull out 1200 out. So I'm going to get n plus n times n plus 1 divided by 2 times 12 times r by 100. If you want to substitute for r, you may, but I want to do that a little later. So I'll bring 1200 down, so that is going to become 12440 times 1200. Let me go back, is equal to n plus n times n plus 1 divided by 24 times r by 100. Now I will substitute the value of r because I feel it's easier for me to take this forward here. You know, r is 8. Similarly, on the left hand side, I'll cancel off the zeros and see if I can simplify it further. What I know is those numbers definitely go by 4. So I will divide the numbers by 4 at this stage. So when I do that, in the numerator, I will get 311 divided by 30 is going to be equal to n plus, I'm not going to change this at all, n plus 1 by 24 times 8 by 100. I know that 8 and 24 would get cancelled now, so that is going to give me a 3. So if you notice, on my RHS I have a 300 in the denominator, on the LHS I have a 30, so that's waiting for you to get cancelled. So now all I'm going to do is simplify my RHS, take a common LCM and then proceed with it. So I'm going to get 311 times 30 is going to be equal to, if I take 300 as the LCM, that's going to give me 300n plus n squared plus n divided by 300. Cancel off your denominators on both sides to make it a little easy, and then let us start framing the equation. I'll just go back. So that is going to give me 3110. Let me go back again. So that is going to give me n square plus 301n. Yes, minus 3110 is going to be equal to 0. All you have to do is split the middle term. This might take a little while, but this is much easier than the rest of it. Your factors are going to be 311 and 10. So I'm just going to simplify that out. You can take it forward from here if you feel you're comfortable. Remember, n is always computed in months. The value of n that you're going to get will be the number of months. So I get n minus 10 times n plus 311 is equal to 0. So I get two possible values. I get n minus 10 equal to 0, indicating n is equal to 10 months, which seems all right. The other answer I get is n plus 311 is equal to 0, indicating n is minus 311, which cannot be true because you cannot have months measured in negative. So your final answer is going to be 10 months. You're going to put that as a final statement. The total time of investment is 10 months. Please pause this video and finish the problem. Alright, now that you've finished it, let's do the 10th one. You're going to do the 10th one on your own because it is just pretty much like your 9th question, where you need to calculate the total number of months using the same formula. There is absolutely no change to the problem except that the numbers are going to be different. I'm just going to put the relevant information for you. You know, P is 300, you know, R is 8%. He's given you the maturity value as rupees 8,100. And he's asking us to calculate the value of n. So please pause this video, or if you want to understand how this is done, go back to the previous question and repeat it. It's quite simple otherwise. I'm just going to put the formula for MV as well for you. You know, MV is equal to NP plus I. Please pause this video at this time and proceed. Alright, let's finish off the last question on your exercise. The 11th question, it's fairly direct. The only additional thing he's asking you to do is calculate the interest, and you know how to do that already. So let's list down all the information that is given to us. He's given us that the total principal is rupees 2,500. You're investing this for 24 months, so n is equal to 24 months. He's also given us the maturity value. He's given us the maturity value to be rupees 67,500. I'm just going to put that out there. Now let us calculate what all we need to. Let us find out what we need to calculate. We first need to calculate the value of I. The other thing we need to do is calculate the value of R. The only thing you have not calculated in this exercise is the value of I, which I'll teach you how to do. It's very simple. You know mv is equal to np plus I. You know the value of mv, you know the value of n, you know the value of p. Just substitute and get the value of I. And once you get the value of I, to get the value of R, you refer to question 6, and I think you should be good to go. So pause this video at this point in time and please finish the problem off. Alright, now that you've finished it off, I also want you to complete the second exercise, which is exercise 2b. You will notice even in that exercise, all the problems are just like this. I know that is a revision exercise that is generally done just before your final boards, but I would suggest that you finish it off now because you've already done the first exercise. And that's about it for today. Have a good day then. Bye bye.